It's time for economic recovery and recess.
Look at this. It's impressive. The exact moment when a dictator realizes the sky is no longer safe. Security guards running, bulletproof blankets. Panic took over. 7 years ago, this was just a scare for Maduro. But today, well, today, this is the harsh reality. Venezuela closed its airspace. The deadliest American fleet ever is just kilometers from the coast. Nicolas Maduro is cornered with no way out.
We want peace.
But peace with sovereignty, peace with equality, peace with freedom. We don't want the square of slaves.
And it all started with a post on social media. Now, there's something really bizarre about this story. I need to show you, because it's hard to believe. I need to. On November 23rd, Maduro turned 63 years old. And do you know how he celebrated? Dancing, celebrating, as if nothing was happening. Little did he know that just a few days later, everything would change. Few people know this, but at the end of November, Trump and Maduro had a phone conversation. And it wasn't a negotiation, it was an ultimatum. Trump gave Maduro 3 options: Russia, Turkey, or Iran. Choose one and get out. Maduro tried to negotiate, requesting a transition that let him retain some control over the armed forces. The answer is a firm no. You can leave easily or with difficulty. Maduro then called for dialogue. He appealed for talks.
I said that in English, and I always repeated true dialogue in English.
How do you say dialogue in English? Good question.
Dialogue. Dialogue.
Dialogue.
Dialogue.
Dialogue?
Dialogue.
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 Never war.
But it was too late for discussion. Do you know what he did? Maduro refused the ultimatum. And at that moment, things got out of control. Days later, on November 29th, Trump did something that changed everything. He picked up his phone, opened Truth Social, and simply declared Venezuela's airspace is closed. There was no United Nations meeting, no international vote, no authorization from any global body. It was a post on social media. And do you know what happened next? In a matter of seconds, the American civil aviation started issuing alerts, saying there was a risk of military operations and global positioning system interference. In short, the area is extremely dangerous. The airlines received these warnings and, one by one, made the same decision. Iberia cancelled. Transportes Aéreos Portugueses cancelled. Air Europa, Latam, Avianca Go, Turkish Airlines, all of them. Within a few days, no international commercial flights were landing anymore. In Caracas, the capital, the Venezuelan sky became completely empty. Think about that. For the first time, a whole country was digitally cut off from the world. No bombings, no ground invasion, just a single post and, in a few days, total isolation. This has never happened like this before. Never. But the closed sky is just part of the siege. At sea, Operation Southern Spear is underway. It's the largest American military mobilization in the Caribbean since the invasion of Panama. The center of this operation is the United States ship Gerald R. Ford, the most powerful aircraft carrier on the planet. 100,000 tons, more than 75 warplanes. This ship alone surpasses the entire air force of dozens of countries. But it didn't come alone. Cruisers armed with missiles, destroyers with state-of-the-art systems, assault ships carrying Marines. And here's the critical detail. One of these ships, the United States ship Stockdale, was spotted just 10 miles off the Venezuelan coast, 16 kilometers. That's the distance of a few neighborhoods in a city. They're not patrolling, they're testing. Testing. How long does the Venezuelan defense take to react? If they're going to react, and how far they can go without provoking a response, it's pure pressure. A demonstration that they can be in Caracas whenever they want. The F-35 fighter jets, the most advanced in the world, are in Puerto Rico. They are radar-invisible aircraft, just minutes of flight from the Venezuelan capital. Venezuela, in turn, has Sukhoi fighter jets. They're good, but against the F-35S, there's no comparison. Now, let's look at the whole picture. The Venezuelan sky is closed. No international airline flies there. The sea is watched. The American fleet controls the Caribbean. Only the land remains. But here, Maduro also has no way out. Everything indicates that Brazil won't help. President Lula criticized the American actions, but he didn't offer asylum to Maduro. Colombia didn't either. They depend a lot on the United States. It's not worth the risk. Maduro is literally surrounded. All escape routes have been cut off. Air, sea, land. All this occurred in days. A full siege established faster than any standard military operation. For the first time, we see a regime being isolated from the world in record time. And all of this because of a digital decision turned into physical reality. But after all, why is this happening now? The American government officially cites the Cartel of Los Soles, a group of Venezuelan generals, accused of drug trafficking. The name comes from the golden sun insignias that the generals wear. Today,
the Department of Justice and the Department of State are announcing a historic reward of $50 million for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro.
The United States has classified this cartel as a terrorist organization and placed Nicolas Maduro as the leader. This designation changes everything legally. Nicolas Maduro is no longer treated as a president with diplomatic immunity. He is now treated as a terrorist. And terrorists, well, are valid targets for military operations. Under Nicolas Maduro's leadership, Venezuela collapsed. More than 7 million people have fled the country. The economy went into free fall. Hospitals are without basic medicines. Widespread hunger. A country with the largest oil reserves in the world turned into a place where people struggle to eat. And while the population suffered, reports indicate that the high military command was getting rich from drug trafficking. The country became a corridor for drugs with the blessing of the generals. As you can see, we're at a more critical moment. The Venezuelan opposition, led by Maria Corina Machado, speaks of decisive hours. The signs are everywhere. The fleet is miles off the coast. The fighter jets are ready in Puerto Rico. The airspace is completely isolated, and the land borders offer no refuge. And while all this is happening, while the largest fleet since 1989 surrounds the country, Maduro appears dancing. There's even a remix with his slogan, asking for peace. Peace, peace, the song says. He dances like he doesn't care and isn't taking the situation seriously. While the siege tightens, he dances. Meanwhile, investigations in the United States Congress are moving forward. Investigations into recent operations at sea, reports of possible incidents during interdiction operations. The details are still classified. The biggest risk now isn't a planned invasion. It's a mistake. Stop and think. A Venezuelan anti-aircraft battery that fires nervously. A pilot who flies too close. A commander who misinterprets a move. With so much military force concentrated in a small space, with tensions at their limit, the chance of something going wrong is extremely high. And when you have an aircraft carrier, destroyers, fighter jets, and nervous defenses all in the same place, a mistake can escalate in minutes. The region has become a powder keg. And also think about the regional impact of all this. Why? Did the closure of the airspace affect more than just Venezuela? The nearby islands saw flight routes change. Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, all tourism in those countries was impacted. Flights were canceled or rerouted. No one wants to fly near a military operations zone. The entire region feels the effect of the siege. This, well, is a classic military siege, applied in a modern way. Cut off the air, block the sea, isolate by land, and then wait. The execution impressed, beginning with a digital decree post. And, in just a few days, it created an isolation that would have taken weeks or months to accomplish. 20 years ago, technology changed how wars are fought. We're seeing this live. The question is no longer if Maduro will fall, it's when. He's surrounded. All exits are blocked. His allies in the region won't risk facing the United States. The pressure is total. The siege is complete. And, for the first time in history, this happened at a speed that no one thought possible. A post changed everything. But Maduro's fall is just the beginning of the story. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves on the planet, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than Iraq. What happens to this resource after the regime falls will impact the global market. Brazil and Colombia are both already handling millions of Venezuelan refugees. A sudden change could send millions more across the borders. The stability of all of South America could change, depending on what happens in the next hours and days. We are watching history being made, a regime completely isolated from the world in record time. No mass shootings, no tanks in the streets of Caracas yet. Simply a show of absolute power, and all started by a social media post, which turned into physical reality. Now I want to know your opinion. Do you think Maduro will resist, or will he accept exile? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this video helped you understand what's really happening, share it with someone who needs to see this. Subscribe to the channel for more analyses like this. See you in the next video.